John McCain slammed Michael Moore for criticizing American Sniper. Let's watch.
I don't know if you saw this new movie, American Sniper, but it's been causing a bit of a commotion, and I wanted to get your reaction. Michael Moore has been critical of the film, and he tweeted this. He said, "My uncle killed by a sniper in World War II. We were taught snipers were cowards. We'll shoot you in the back. Snipers aren't heroes, and invaders are worse." What did you think of that, and did you see the movie?
I haven't seen the movie yet, and I intend to see it as soon as possible, but sometimes when I hear an idiotic statement like that from someone like Michael Moore, I don't want to dignify it with a response because it's so outrageous. That's like saying we should not use airplanes, we should not use tanks, we should not use any other weapon. What does he want us to do? Go back to hand-to-hand fighting? But the most important thing is that these brave young men, and they're the most highly skilled, save the lives of others of their comrades because they are able to neutralize or take out an enemy that's bent on destroying them. And so the better capability we have and the finer young men that we have, the better off we're going to be. And I just, it really does a great disservice to say that about so many of our young men and women who are serving in the Marines and the Army, and many of them are scout snipers. It's almost insulting to them.
No, it's not insulting to them. What's insulting to the troops is sending them into needless wars. I've argued this before on the show, but I think I'm the most pro-military commentator in the country. I'm certainly more pro-military than any politician, bar maybe Ron Paul, right? And that's because Ron Paul and I agree totally on these issues. That the only time you should ever ask any brave young American man or woman to lay down their life for their country is when you are defending it against imminent attack. When you nonchalant, willy-nilly say, fuck it, Iraq didn't do 9/11, they don't have weapons of mass destruction, but whatever, let's go invade and fight there, and while we're at it, we'll go into Afghanistan as well, and while we're at it, we'll throw in some drone strikes in North Africa. That's the problem. The problem is when people don't understand war, so they're willing to make decisions with your life or your kids' lives. That's the problem. And understand that people need to get this. If you think that criticizing American Sniper is stupid, perhaps you're stupid. Because it's portrayed as based on a true story. And there's absolutely no truth in the way that they portrayed the Iraq War. Okay, they show a scene of Chris Kyle watching the towers coming down, and the next thing you know, boom, he's in Iraq. So the implicit connection is, well, obviously they were responsible, and that's why he's over there. If you wanted to do a war hero movie, it would have been fairly easy to find some war heroes who actually fought Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, who actually fought the enemy in Afghanistan. But no, you pick this guy who killed 160 people, confirmed 255 probable, but he has endless quotes about how all Iraqis are savages and I only wish I killed more people. And he said, we didn't abide by any rules of war, nor should there be any to begin with. You should kill any man between ages 16 and 65. And then what happened? I'm sure he did that. If you think all 160 kills really are, your stereotypical jihadis with the beard and the bomb vest and they're about to kill a baby, you are incredibly naive if you believe that. Now, the movie tried to make him seem like he was a more nuanced character than he was in real life. If you read his book, he's anything but nuanced. And we went over in detail the fact that the dude's a fucking liar. Chris Kyle's a liar. Very simply, he lost a court case because he said, hey, I punched out Jesse Ventura, who was saying bad things about the troops. He was never in the same state as Jesse Ventura. Jesse Ventura won over $1 million in that lawsuit. He said he was killing people during Hurricane Katrina because they were looting. Nonsense! He said that he was carjacked, and then, he killed the people who were carjacking him. No evidence of that whatsoever. None. Zero. Zip. Same thing with the Katrina situation. Zero evidence. In fact, the press outlets in New Orleans said that's the most preposterous story I've ever heard. Not true. So the guy's a proven liar, but he's upheld as like this, A war hero, such a war hero. Anyway, look about the movie with him in Iraq. Isn't he such a hero? No, the story of Iraq is a story of a criminal war. It's an illegal war. The story of Iraq is the story of, at best, incompetent politicians, at worst, nefarious politicians who lied to get us in there because they wanted us in there. That's the real story of Iraq. The story of Iraq is that our brave young American men and women were duped and were sent to a needless war by a bunch of criminals in the administration. Again, the argument was Saddam was responsible for 9/11. We found out that was factually incorrect, not true at all. In fact, the Ba'athist Party, who Saddam was a part of, actively opposed fundamentalist Muslims. He was against al-Qaeda because they threatened his power. So we figured out that was a lie, and then we moved it to he has nuclear weapons and an anthrax bomb. That wasn't true either, and by the way, the implication was he's going to use them immediately, and he does have them. Even if he did have them, which he doesn't, he wasn't going to use them immediately. He'd be blown out of the sky like that if he tried to use it on America. He wouldn't have done that, so again, that was a lie. Then they moved the goalpost to he's just a bad guy, so we need to what? Go in there, stay for over a decade, kill over 200,000 civilians, occupy the country, and steal the natural resources? This is the real story of Iraq. If you want to talk about a hero, go to Afghanistan, find somebody who really fought al-Qaeda. There are plenty of them. Those are your real American heroes. The American hero is not somebody who was gunning down innocent people, who's a war criminal and a liar, and who was portrayed in a way that doesn't represent the reality. So it's not stupid for Michael Moore to criticize the movie. It's stupid to criticize him for criticizing the movie. Because it's this rah-rah jingoism bullshit about how America can't be wrong and how dare you denigrate the troops. It's that kind of low-level back-and-forth conversation which makes America lag behind the rest of the world in understanding the situation, the total situation with international politics today.